Good afternoon folks, it's Les from Orchid Species and it's the 9th of March. Today what I'm going to be doing is removing some germinated Pleione seeds that we sowed back in October 2013. I think there's a link below if you want to see a video on the actual sowing of these seeds under sterile conditions. But today what we're going to be doing is removing these from this sterile environment, and we're going to be potting them up straight onto sphagnum peat in transparent tubs. So what I've got in the tubs, it's just plain straightforward sphagnum peat, and what I've done, it's been slightly moistened and then it's been microwaved on full power in a microwave in a jug for, I think it was 2 minutes. I give it a stir and then microwaved it again for a minute and a half, and that will sterilise it and kill anything that's in this soil that you don't want. So then I've put this much in, and I'm just gently pressing down on the surface to make a flat sowing area like that. And now what I'm going to do is water this. You can use just a straightforward sprayer. Now look, interestingly, the water I'm using is reverse osmosis water, which has gone through a series of filters, charcoal filters and ceramic filters and membranes and all sorts of things, and it removes 99.99% of everything. So the water that comes out of my water system is almost like rainforest water. In fact, it's probably purer than rainforest water. Now the thing with that is, when you come to water your plants with it, I'm not talking about these, I'm talking about adult plants, obviously there's no nutrients in the water because you've just taken them all out with everything else. So you must feed well when you're using reverse osmosis water. So that's now getting nicely damp, as you can see, and I'll continue on and do the rest of these in the same manner. So now we've got the moistened surface, we can remove these seedlings, remove the filter, and I'm going to scoop them out onto a petri dish or petri dish, depending on how you like to say it. There we go. And I'll give you a close-up of that. So now that we've removed it from the container, we can start to pick away at this green material, which is actually the seedlings. And they're called protocorms, which is the name given to germinated orchid seeds. So I'm picking away at these seedlings, is what I'm going to call them. Get rid of that bit of jelly. Get out. Right, so now we've isolated some of these, what I'm going to do now on the wetted one is you can't use your fingers because they're far too delicate. I'm going to pick one up on the end of the device. You see that? Hopefully you can. And then deposit this on the surface and wipe it off. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a tiny little dent and push that in like that. And then I shall repeat the process with the rest of these little plants. It can be quite fidgety. I'm going to use the other end. So again, I'll just deposit that on the surface, little pat down, got another one on the back of the device, There we go. Wipe it off. Pat it down. Now, as you can see, there's already 3. So in this tub, I'm going to get what? 3, 6, 9, 12, about 15. I'll get about 15 little plantlets in there. So I'll continue on, and then all that's to be done is it's to be labelled up with the correct name and the date that we've done this deflasking. Snap on one of the lids. Now this filter here, there's a hole in the lid, and this filter will allow gas exchange so that the plants can breathe, but it's going to prevent any bacteria and spores of moulds and fungus, and also any pests from getting into these plants. So we snap that on, click, put the label on with the date and everything, and then we want to position this somewhere where it's going to be nice and light, but certainly not in direct sunlight, because what will happen is it will cook like a pressure cooker. So you need to be well lit but out of direct sun. Temperature wise, it wants to be around about 15 minimum, up to about 20 degrees optimum, and they should be away. They'll get settled within about a fortnight, 2 weeks, and they should flower within about 3 years from this point. And don't forget, in the autumn you have to dry these things off, and then in the following spring you plant them up and they produce a fresh bulb that year, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and on the 3rd year that's when it'll flower. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I shall continue on and do the rest of these plants. You can buy these things and the pots and the containers and the plants from orchidspecies.co.uk. Thanks very much. Bye then.